There's a little city at the end of the road where the Detroit River and the whiskey flows.
Rise and shine with AM800. It's Mornings with Mike and Meg.
What a great song.
It is a great song. 8:09 here. And, next week's going to be a big week for our federal politicians because the Canadian House of Commons is scheduled to return to session on Monday. And joining us this morning, Chris Lewis, who is the MP for Essex. He's joining us. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Meg. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you for coming on with us. So I'm just wondering, as things kind of are set to begin again, what are some of the priorities that you see that you will be taking, to the House of Commons from our area?
Of course, it's definitely going to be a very busy fall. There's no question about that. I spent all summer meeting with small businesses, meeting with just various folks right across the country, across the region, quite frankly, and I continue to hear cost of living is a crisis. We have a major housing shortage. Our young adults can't get into a home. Mm-hmm. I hear about crime all the time. And I hear about the struggles of our small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, of course, facing tariffs. So those are the types of things that are very much top of mind going back to Ottawa, but I'm excited to get back there.
All right, Chris Lewis, MP, do you feel, as a small business owner yourself in the past, a municipal councillor, that brings you maybe more a unique perspective, Chris, than when you talk to these people that have their own businesses?
I really do believe that, and I know that I'm very fortunate that I've got a long history in business and worked with a lot of municipalities, worked with a lot of cities, and I understand that it takes a lot of tax dollars to get infrastructure built, but that's why that's kind of the fastball that I bring to the table.
We've heard a lot, I guess, from Mark Carney, just releasing, I think it was last week, kind of this economic plan, which included 50,000 workers will be able to access new reskilling. It's a package, $5 billion fund to help businesses develop products and find new markets, a formal Buy Canadian policy, a new biofuel production incentive for the agricultural sector. These probably way better than I do, but I'm just curious to know what you think about this plan that he has put forward and your thoughts about how that will impact our country.
Well, anytime we can get investment into our country, of course I'm going to support. And I've said it since the very beginning when Prime Minister Carney was elected. If the Prime Minister comes forward with good ideas, with strong ideas, with great investments, creating jobs and prosperity for Canada, Conservatives will support it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're definitely going to hold the government to account. We saw the announcement yesterday of the 5 major projects. The truth of the matter is, many of these major projects were already well into the go. Like, it was already moving ahead. Some started as early as 2012. So what Conservatives are going to do is introduce the Canadian Sovereignty Act when we get back to Parliament, and that will unleash our critical minerals up in the Ring of Fire. That will unleash oil pipelines in the forestry sector and get permits approved immediately so we can get going on these things. So there's a lot of work to do. I'm always wanting to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Yeah.
I'm not here to argue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to make lives of Canadians better.
MP Chris Lewis with us here on AM800, Mike and Meg. How difficult is it for you and our other MPs in this area? We have gone blue, the Conservatives across the board with Harb Gill in Windsor West and Kathy Borelli in Windsor-Tecumseh Lakeshore. And, so you're the veteran of this group, Chris. You're wearing the C with your line mates here. How difficult is it to get your message across to a government that is not your own party?
That's a very fair question, and truthfully, it's not that difficult because, as I just mentioned, I want to be part of solutions and not part of the problems. I'm not one of the hecklers in the House of Commons. Mm-hmm. I build relationships, and the other good thing is we're also surrounded by some amazing provincial MPPs. So we work hand in hand with them to help funnel funds, if you will, to the municipalities and to special projects. But I don't really find it difficult. I find it. I actually have it. I really enjoy it. I have a lot of fun doing it because I like to build relationships and I like to see things move forward.
You know what, Chris? Just your comment there about not wanting to be one of the hecklers. I can completely appreciate that, obviously, and but we're seeing so much political turmoil, and it feels like we are divided now more than ever. And, just seeing what's happening in the States right now, of course, with the news of Charlie Kirk. I guess, what is your message for people listening who might be on either sides of the political spectrum about, how we should approach politics moving forward?
It was really heart-wrenching to see, to watch it unfold with Mr. Kirk's, and it's frustrating as heck because in a democracy such as Canada and such as the United States, if we can't sit down across the table and have a good, solid discussion of our viewpoints, but not be able to stand up from that table and walk away and at least have respect for each other, it's awful frustrating. And what scares me is future generations. What legacy are we leaving for the young adults that potentially aren't really engaged with politics today, but it's going to affect their future? And so we need a bunch of adults in the room. That's why I don't get into the whole heckling thing. I'd rather do things outside of the House of Commons to get things done as opposed to being part of some of the silliness that happens up there.
MP Chris Lewis from Essex joining us. One more question from me, Chris, and we hear some criticism. I see criticism that you're not communicating enough with the people you represent, and that we don't hear from you enough. Do you feel like you're doing that enough, or you can do a better job to tell us, what you're doing for the people of Essex and this whole region when you go to do your work in Ottawa?
I would love to know who those people are.
Well, I'm one of them. I feel like it has been very difficult, and it took a while to get you on the show, and we appreciate having you here.
Sure.
But we also hear from our listeners that, we don't hear from you enough. And that's why we love having politicians of different levels of government on to get that announcement out and get their word out to the public.
Yeah, I would love you actually. Come shadow me for a day. I will tell you that I work absolutely tirelessly. My days start very early and I go very late into the evening, basically 24/7. And people can go on to my website. They can see all the things we're doing. Follow me on our YouTube pages and all those things. Basically, I have event after event after event a day. And the truth of the matter is, many of the conversations that I have, I don't even post because they're private conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
So people don't realize what the commitment that it takes to do this. And I suppose the best thing was I just put my wife on the phone and you ask her how often I'm home.
Sure.
We'd love to have her on sometime. We're out of time now, but we'll have her on next time.
We just want to thank you, Chris, very much for coming on the show this morning. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate hearing your comments on, how we are going to be represented in Ottawa come Monday. So that is Chris Lewis, MP for Essex, calling us this morning and having a little chat.
Yeah, it's good. And they all go back to Parliament starting on Monday. Some